When they say the mess that we left, if the mess that we left means or meant drugs in hospitals, because all the pharmacies were filled with drugs, if that is the mess that we left, if the mess that we left relates to fertilizers in warehouses right across the country, as at 12th August 2021, when they were winning elections, then I'm guilty. Then we're guilty. Then we're guilty of the mess. Because when they were coming in, they found drugs in hospitals. There are not drugs in hospitals today. When they were coming in, they found fertilizers in warehouses right across the country. So if that is the mess they're referring to, then we're guilty. We're guilty of the mess of having built 3 big international airports. One in Lusaka, one in Indore, and one in Livingstone. So if that is the mess that they're referring to, then we're guilty 100%. If the mess that they're referring to are the many schools that we built right across the country that has enabled them to employ up to 30,000 teachers, then we're guilty of that mess. If the mess that they're referring to refers to the many health facilities that we built, including the 650 health posts across the country, in addition to mini hospitals and district hospitals and referral hospitals, if that is the mess that they're referring to, then we are very guilty.
But the issue of, the shortage of medicine, I think this problem has been there for so many years now, not only under the UPND, but even under the Patriotic Front. We used to experience, this erratic shortage of medicine in these clinics. Each time you went to the hospital, not that it was a perennial problem, but we used to incur these problems once in a while under the PF. Not only under the PF, but even under the MMD, this problem was there. So where do you think that maybe the UPND has just committed that, evil, offense today?
The current shortage of medicines in hospitals cannot be compared to any other shortage that we experienced in the past. I served as minister, I know what I'm talking about. The supply of drugs to hospitals through medical stores was actually automated. The stock levels were actually monitored automatically, and trucks were moving all over the country, and that's the pride that we had. The order levels and the ordering mechanisms were all automated, and medical stores was equal to the task to distribute drugs all over the country. The occasional shortages that would occur would be maybe on account of delayed transportation, maybe due to breakdowns but they were very temporal. They would not even go over a week. We've been talking about shortage of drugs, essential drugs, for quite some time now. What is very unfortunate that many people are not even thinking about, nobody has come forward to inform the Zambian people how many deaths have come as a result of these unfortunate incidents of shortage of drugs. People seem to be focused on the shortage of drugs, but the deaths that have resulted in this shortage of drugs are totally that information is not being talked about. I know that a number of people, a number of families right now are grieving, after losing their beloved ones. Lives that should not have ordinarily been lost are being lost today. That's the kind of situation that we're facing today. So let's not trivialize this, because it borders on lives. And everything that is going wrong is that which affects the poor people. Because others, yes, there are no drugs at the hospitals. They've got disposable income. They walk up to a pharmacy and get their drugs. What about the poor people? Deep in villages, they're dying in silence, and there's no one to speak for them. And that is why I know for sure that as Patriotic Front we have an opportunity, because now the time for stories is over. Okay, Zambian people are able to compare. They'll compare oranges with oranges and not oranges to apples. Because back then our friends came with flowery stories, very good stories, and duped the Zambian people into believing that they will indeed be able to serve the Zambian people better. Go out there in the markets. You won't even go far. Don't even ask anybody any question. Just start walking through the market. You hear the comments that are coming from the Zambian people. It's very, very unfortunate.
I was listening. I was listening attentively when you started, making insinuations that people are dying as a result of the shortage of drugs, you know, in the hospitals and the clinics. And I said, you are a researcher, you are a leader. You know, why didn't you come with maybe the figures to, you know, outline the people that could have died as a result of this shortage of medicines? And like giving a blank statement?
We are working on it, IP. Specifically, of course, I didn't prepare that information for this particular interview. But in not too distant a future, we will be presenting figures. We'll be presenting figures of, you know, differences or maybe the mortality rates in various health institutions. And then from there, people draw inferences as what could account to the sharp increases in deaths across, you know, the health sectors in the country.
Let's talk about the corruption. I know that when the UPND came in power, they embarked on an audit, you know, process to ensure that almost everything is corrected. I know that some suppliers who were involved or who were engaged in the supply chain of these medicines, some of them, I'm sure, they could have been dismissed along the way because of the corruption. I know that could have taken place under your administration. Of course, when I say corruption, I mean in the courts. You know, yeah. But above all, it's something that has come out very strongly that many of these suppliers were aligned to the PF. They were your members, were the sympathizers. You know, hence the UPND needed to do that which is right for the people of Zambia. Don't you think that it's a reason why we have taken long to stabilize as a country? Because the party in power wants to do or wants to correct the mess once again.
IP, you don't run a country like you're running a farm, where you show up in your pickup one morning and you say you fired everybody and say everything stops until I say start. That's not how you run a country. A country runs on systems. There has to be continuity at all times. When you want to implement policies, government policies, the first thing you do is that you carry out a study. It could be a short study on the likely impacts of the decisions that you're about to make. You know, you do your regulatory impact assessments. Okay, if we started doing audits now and suspended procurement of drugs, what are the likely impacts on the patients? What are the likely impacts on the people that are supposed to receive these drugs? From those reports now, you craft your policy and exactly how or the interim measures that you're going to put in place to ensure that lives are saved. Can you imagine? How can you atone for that damage where people have died because you're carrying out an audit? That should be laughable, isn't it? You know, that is governance made simple, where you say you've suspended everything so that you see, you know, where the money went, and in the meantime, you do not care how many people are going to die as a result of that decision. That would be very unfortunate, and simply put, that would be irresponsible leadership.
Why do you think that only the PF, you know, is capable to correct all these problems that the problems that we're talking about, shortage of medicines, and also delayed distribution of fertilizer and also the seeds to the farmers? Why not any other political party, but you still want you, the PF, to be in power? Because you were there. 10 years, I think, was long enough for you to perform miracles. Singapore, I think, was built within 10 years.